Hey Scorpio, great to see you. Come on in. Hey, good timing because we are going to do your Scorpio 2020 yearly reading and forecast. I'm very excited to be doing this. I've just been doing some spiritual work and metaphysical, or magic, as you might call it, and I'm really in the mood now to be doing your reading for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one card for each month of the year, and as you know, if you've seen me before, and of course I do readings each month, as you're probably aware. If you're a subscriber, you see me all the time. If you're not, just search me, Nigel Saint James, and the month, the current month, and you'll find my reading for you. Then you know that I do use esoteric astrology, numerology, mysticism, and the tarot, of course, and spiritual energies that come through. Anyway, let's get things underway, shall we? I think this is going to be your best year ever. Let's have a look. Okay, that'll do it. Let's get things going, shall we? Let's find out what there is in store for you. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let us now get into this. Incidentally, what I'll do is I'll bring the lamp over and shine it down on the cards so that you'll be able to see the great artwork in them while I do the reading for you. Now let's have a look and see what January is, shall we? The 6 of Discs, February. The 7 of Wands, March. The Knight of Wands, April. The 9 of Wands, May. The Ace of Wands. Was there anything that wasn't? This is going to be a really full-on year for you. Here's June. What's this going to be? The 2 of Discs. Well, you've got discs at either end of the first 6 months and all the wands in between. Incidentally, isn't that an arresting card? We'll see what it means in just a moment. Let's have a look into July, shall we? Justice. August. The 3 of Discs. September. The King of Cups. October. The 3 of Cups. November, the Page of Discs, and December. The World. What a great way to finish what looks like a fantastic year already. Oh, I'm excited to do this. So why don't you come over here, sit down next to me. I'll bring the light over. We'll shine them down these cards, and let's look at them together while I do the reading for you. All right, my Scorpio, here we go. January through to June, July through to December. This is an overview. My monthly readings are, of course, far more detailed. Let's have a look, though, in January. This 6 of Discs. What an interesting looking card and energy coming here for you. Let's have a look at it. The Lord of Material Success. What a great energy to start the year with. It is for me the moon ruling the second decan of Taurus, that first of the 10th of May. Now, in ordinary astrology, the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a good sign. But the moon's transient nature means that success may be short-lived. And that's fair enough, isn't it? Because success is not a continuum. Success is something that happens here, and then you have a success, and then you have another success. So the moon ruling Taurus, the moon likes nurturing and comfort, and Taurus likes material things, so they are well suited to bringing about material success. The number 6 is a great number as well for me numerologically, because it is connected with the sun, and it is also connected with great material energy, which might metaphorically be called Krishna consciousness or Christ consciousness. Material success and financial prosperity, I see for you. I think there may well be the opportunity to be involved in a profitable adventure. It's a reminder for you to remember the successes in your life and build on those. And I certainly think you will have some desire for success. And the energy coming around here is saying that if that is the case, then you should be willing to take a risk, be committed, trust your intuition in particular, and give it your full force of time and energy. I'd have this thought in mind for January. My self-acceptance and self-confidence are the keys to real success. Visualize as precisely as possible what you consider success to be. Now let's have a look at this card, the Seven of Wands for February. The 7, first of all, wow, look at these green eyes. I'm getting very much the planet of Venus, because esoterically Venus is associated with the planet of with green. And the 7, if you look at the numerology of the 7 refers to an energy of divine emanation prior to the appearance of the material universe, which is all about overcoming. It's about extension. It's about moving things forward. Well, in a nutshell, it's about a victory. And associated with that number 7, for me, esoterically, is the planet of Venus. And here we have these green eyes as well. Well, I call this card the Lord of Valor. It is Mars in the 3rd decan of Leo, with Venus ruling this number 7. Now, this far down away from we're in Wands, the suit of fire, this far down away from the energy of the Ace, the energy of Wands starts to become weakened, I suppose, discoordinated, starts to fray, if you like, at the edges. And the feminine energy that's coming into the equation by way of Venus further dilutes the strength of fire in the suit of Wands. But I have Mars in the 3rd decan of Leo as the astrology of the card, and that's the avatars, if you like, of the energy. And Mars normally likes Leo, but in this case, being so far down the tree of life, harmony does not exist. And again, the feminine energy of Venus does not sit well with Mars. Venus and Mars, they don't sit well together. And you may well feel during this period that it is really only your Mars energy that is keeping you going. You may be Look, I feel that in some respects you may be kind of feeling worn out about something. You've come through this New Year period. You've got these great seeds of success coming through into the beginning of the year. And in some ways I feel that, no, you're tired. You've been putting work into something. Now, Mars in Leo usually indicates somebody acting with authority and power. And I think you will have that authority and power during this period of February. But with this energy, I feel that you are going to have to dig deep and use all your resources. And it's possible that there may well be, you see, something of a lack of focus or something of a lack of direction going on in your life. So you'll need to dig deep and call on your inner strength. You might feel that you haven't been dealt the best hand in relation to something, or even that things in the background are not going your way. But I'm here to tell you now that I can see that in the background, you have great energy coming in, which is going to propel you forward during the year. Now, in a relationship setting, and the relationship doesn't have to just be a romantic relationship or a coupled relationship. It could also be a friendship, it could be a work relationship, or it could be a relationship, say, with a customer or in a supplier. There may well be problems associated with that relationship, and you might be running out of ideas how to keep the thing going. You've been putting in the energy, you've been trying this, you've been trying that, but you are just not getting back what you need to keep sustaining it. Or in relation to matters that could be going on around your workplace, you could be coming to the end of your tether in relation to something. And what I think may well happen is that when you do get to the end of your tether, given this strong energy that's coming through here, and this Knight of Wands that comes straight after it, I think you might call time on that relationship and say, well, I've got more to do with my time than deal with problems, and you are the problem. Now here we have the Knight of Wands. Well, esoterically, knights are air and wands are fire. And when you put fire and air together, you get a maelstrom. You get an enormous amount of energy put together. I call this card the Prince of the Chariot of Fire. I think people important to you at this time are going to be Leo people, probably Cancer as well. It's a very dynamic card with a strong Leo influence, and air and fire are complementary and active. The Knight, well, I'll refer to him as being a male, but of course in these court cards, males can be both, knights can be both, or court cards, irrespective of how they're drawn, can be both male and female. It's the underlying energy which is important. And here we have a wolf that's looking like it's just about to be on the attack. And it's suggesting to me and I'll use the male pronoun, it refers, I think, to a young man who is swift and strong, impulsive, violent, generous, noble, just, with something of a sense of humor, I think. He has the heart of a lion and stands for honesty and integrity and what he believes to be for the common good. There's a very strong sense of morality attached to this character, and I think you will have a very strong sense of morality. This card, I have to tell you, can also represent a turning point, and I'm looking at this Seven of Wands that was just before it that we were just discussing. I think this card actually represents a turning point where things have, in the way that you consider them to be, going badly. And what this is saying is you need to use his energy and enthusiasm and desire to move on to better things, and that now is the right time to do it. You should wear the same confidence that he has. It reminds you to engage in life and tackle any challenges that are coming your way. Have a lust for life. He is very courageous and loyal, and I think that you will also be courageous and loyal during the period. I think this is saying that you should well engage in life and wear this confidence that he has, and you will. Now then we have in January, February, March, April, the Nine of Wands. Well, gee, I hope this tiger has been fed tonight. I don't want to end up on the dinner menu for this tiger. The 9, of course, is the sacred number and always very fortuitous. I call this card the Lord of Great Strength. You will have great strength. It is the moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius, at 3rd to the 12th of December. The 9 here, to me, also has mystically an association with the moon. So we have the moon associated with 9, and I see the esoteric astrology as being the moon in Sagittarius. So we have a double lunar influence, as the moon is ruling both the decan and this number of the card. Well, what can we say about it? The moon has said, I'm here to nurture you. I'm here to make sure that things are going well. Sagittarius is giving you the direction of the arrow. And this card is really one of endurance. It's the strength of this animal that is giving you endurance to get through things. It is about reaching into yourself to discover new depths of strength and power that I think you never thought that you had. But you do have them, and you will be making use of them. Now, you may encounter obstacles, but you will have the strength to overcome them. When this card turns up, and I'm just looking at it in the position that it's in, so it's turned up just beside this Knight of Wands, and with the Ace of Wands beside it. Yes, I'm convinced of it now. When this card is turning up in this position, you can be reassured that you have what it takes to get by, even in times of difficulty and stress. Inner strength is going to rise up and guide you forward towards your goals and to what you want. And in the process, you will learn more about yourself and your ability to gain an all-round perspective, which brings you security and self-confidence. Now let's have a look at this one. The Ace of Wands. All these Wands cards, look at them. You've got this 7 of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and now the Ace of Wands. All these fire cards, all about will and your determination going forward. Well, here we have a card which is saying that in this month of May in particular, you will be exhibiting, if you like, what is effectively the seed of the power of wands, the seed of the suit of fire. I think that people around you who are going to be important during this period and you'll be having things to do with are Leo, I think Virgo, and I think Cancer. This is the Lord of the root of the power of fire. And this is really talking about the pure potential, the creative spark, a new project, I think, a new start. It may well talk about a passionate union, and your vital life forces are absolutely flowing. You are going to be full of energy and, well, very quite sexy, I think, at the same time. I think this represents a time in your life when you will have a breakthrough moment of insight and feel inspired and motivated to move your life forward. I think there's going to be a big opportunity opening up for you, and you will have the possibility, because remember, aces are about possibility and potential. You will have the possibility of really tapping into, now this is talking about, you see, these cards have all been talking about you digging deep, and this is reaffirming that you have enormous strength and depth within you, and you will be successfully tapping into what has been a latent, a sleeping potential, which you didn't even know was there, which is now going to come to life. It's going to start to wake up, and it's start to make things happen. It's a perfect time for you to draw upon your imagination and make your dreams come true. Spiritually, this may be a time to rewrite your life. I think there'll be a deep spiritual desire for self-discovery. I'm also getting that. And of course, this can apply to someone who is 80 as much as 18. I'd have this thought in mind during the period. I express my energy and power openly. And so you should, because that is leading to great fortune for you. And then following it in, so you can't make this up. Look at this. Following the energy of that May, we come in here then to the Two of Discs. Well, the two, for me, I see it governed by the planet Neptune, and Neptune represents, the breaking down of boundaries, I think. It can represent some changes. It can represent discovery, new discoveries. It can represent new acquisitions of things. I call her the Lady of Harmonious Change. She is Jupiter ruling the first decan of Capricorn, 23rd of December to the 2nd of January. And I think what she's saying is to, at this time, having drawn upon these things and got these things going and moving and showing up in your life, it's now to go with the flow. Change is bringing you back into balance, and your well-being will get much better. There is movement, flux, a few ups and downs, I think, but definitely growth through change. I see you having something of a heavy workload, interestingly, during this period, but you will be enjoying your work. And I think there may well be a welcome change that is putting you into a much better place. I'd had this thought in mind, and it is, I trust in the harmony of my life and in the power of my life. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. You have to learn to go with the flow in your life and trust in the process of change so that you might find harmony and balance. I don't think there's anything financially or materially set in stone at the moment. So it's really like an open book for you to then start to write your own script as to what you have or what you want. And I think that this is also a reminder to, this might sound a bit tedious, but it reminds you also, I think, to get your own personal house in order, sort out the balancing of the credit card statements, make sure the utility bills are paid, do all those mundane things, because this is a card of very good management of your practical affairs and finance. And like I say, it might sound like a drag, but getting on top of bills and chores is as important as pursuing more enjoyable more enjoyable pursuits. Yeah. Also have a think to yourself about what internal or external changes are going on in my life, and to what am I still clinging? And meditate on the statement that the only constant thing in life is change. And isn't that the case? Well, here we have, so there's the first half of the calendar year. In July, you've got this great card of Justice. Now, with this Justice card, well, I'm just looking at Justice here, and she reminds me of the ancient Egyptian religion, where there was the goddess Ma'at, who would greet the person upon death, and the person's heart would be weighed on scales. So I'm getting a lot of Libra around this as a result. And the person's heart was put on one side of the scale, and this feather that she's holding was put on the other end of the scale. And what would happen is that if the person's heart balanced with that of the feather, then the person would be admitted into the afterlife to continue living even though the body had died. If on the other hand, the heart had outweighed the feather, then rather than being sent to some torturous afterlife or hell, the soul would simply be extinguished and the person would just disappear from existence altogether. I have Venus ruling Libra with Saturn exalted, and Libra emphasizes that the energy here is all about balance and equilibrium. Do you know, I have a great sense of karma around this card, and karmic energy bringing a situation back into balance. The daughter of the Lords of Truth, the ruler of the balance is what I call her. I see justice at last in relation to something you've been struggling with, balance. The suspension of action, I think, pending you making a decision on something, and a kind of an objectivity and standing back is what I also get. I'm just having these words which are coming through that are, even if I wander from you, you are there. Your pleasure ever leads me into the depths of you. Your chastening hand is the caress of reclaiming me. I walk through the alley of hell in the byways of my deeds, and the stifling heat is the clasp of your embrace, of the holding me tight unto you. Yeah. I think that this can represent cutting through a lot of the dross in order to get right to the heart of the matter. I think that this is also a time when you are actually going to be taking a leadership position. Other people are going to be seeing you as a leader. I think it is around something also that, we actually need to keep balance in our lives by adjusting to life's ever-changing circumstances. So maintaining balance is actually an active process, I think, that you need to keep in mind. It's not something that actually happens to you. You have to take charge of it, because it's something that you make happen, and it requires constant assessment and tending on your part. Yeah, I think that I'd have this thought in mind, and it is, I am at rest in my own center. I am balanced and center. I honor my word. I value being truthful in difficult situations. The abundance and beauty of nature is a reflection of my own nature. I think there'll be some taking stock of your life, and you'll be thinking about your life ahead, and be aware, of course, because I'm very much getting this sense of karma around the card, and it's that all actions have consequences. But I think that you will be getting a clear vision of possibilities and choices ahead of you, and you'll be applying your own insights in a way that gives you a happy and balanced life. Almost as if you will be discovering and then following your true path and what gives it the most meaning. Oh, here's a lovely looking card. Let's have a look at this. Let me pull you up a little bit here so that we can get you into focus for my friend. This is the Three of Discs, or what I call the Lord of Material Work. It is Mars in the second decan of Capricorn, the 3rd to the 12th of January. Now, Mars is about energy, assertion, vitality, and Capricorn is about ambition, practicality, and making things tangible. Now, in ordinary astrology, Mars is also exalted in Capricorn, and so the energy of Mars here is very constructive. It's very constructive because Mars is normally, something of a problem, but with this Lady Justice looking directly at the card here, I feel that Mars is actually kind of behaving itself and not being the destructive and just impersonal thing that it usually is. So Mars is constructive, and in this scenario, in Capricorn, we see that Capricorn's materialism benefits from the energy and activity of Mars. So this card, I think, and the energy in it signifies that investing time and effort into work, however broadly you might want to define that, is actually going to turn out very favorably. Very favorably. I see the possibility here of a new job. I see career satisfaction. I see you doing a good job. I see continued progression and productivity. Also, I think teamwork and consulting with others and getting outside help in. Yeah, this is really one of the best cards in the deck, I think. One of them. There is a reward, I think, here for your hard work and dedication, and your skills and knowledge are really going to move you forward. Good outcomes for work, for business projects, and for practical matters in general. Now, we see these three figures here in what looks like a father, a mother, and a child, or they're in balance. And I think that you need to follow things which are fulfilling for your body, your mind, and your emotions, your heart. Life generally is in balance, so obviously you've picked up on this energy of this Justice card that's here, and you are reaping the rewards of a balanced life. There will be for you a great ability to stick with things and overcome obstacles, and it's a time for you to really hoist your sails, and let the wind fill them. Put that spinnaker up and go full speed ahead, because the energy of the cosmos is definitely behind you. And that's in that August period. Now here in September, we have the King of Cups. Well, esoterically, kings are represented by fire, and cups, of course, are water. And if you put fire and water together, what do you have? Well, generally you have a problem, don't you? Because they're in conflict with one another. And so we might expect to see some sort of conflict here. Fire and water. They're enemies of each other, fire and water, in the elemental sense. Who is going to be important to you? Probably a Pisces, maybe an Aquarius. Well, actually an Aquarius is going to be as well. See, I see Aquarius in the card, and I see Pisces in the card. Now again, male and female, it's depicted as a king, I know. And I might refer to him as a man, I think. I see a man who, frankly, has commitment issues. Someone who is, quite good-natured and amiable, but really rather passive. Someone who is attracted to excitement. And somebody who's capable of developing an unsustainable enthusiasm about things or people or ideas. Somebody who is sensitive, but actually very shallow, is what I get. He's mostly passive with the qualities of Venus or a weak Jupiter. He is, on the whole, I think, so superficial that it's hard to reach his depth. His name is written in waters. The Lord of waves and waters, the King of the hosts of the sea. Now, he tends to mismanage his affairs, actually, this guy. And without luck, his career is an unbroken record of failure. Often his mental civil wars, and that comes from that fire and water aspect, his mental civil wars lead to, or can lead to, very often substance abuse and even mental illness. I'm getting here the abuse of stimulants or narcotics, and they can sometimes precipitate a loss of control of one's mental faculties to a great extent. There's a degree of inner contentment and great happiness with such a person, but they're not in our lives for very long, you see. They're not in our lives for very long, but they can bring great happiness and contentment, because they have that, and it radiates out to enrich those that are around them, either emotionally or spiritually. He can be, and he can sometimes foreshadow that we might become uncertain of ourselves and feel that we can't get what we want, really, in love and relationships. And he has periods of self-doubt, which he needs to kind of bolster with constant reassurance from others. And it's true that he may have periods where he lacks energy and inspiration. Look, this could seem like laziness, but I think it's sometimes a necessary respite from what are more active and creative times. At best, he's loving and generous, supportive and tender. He can be capable of quite high spiritual achievement, but again, it's not someone who's in our lives for very long. And the lesbian and gay community will make the necessary adjustment, please. But this guy likes the opposite sex, and the opposite sex likes him. He's charming, very charming and magnetic, but he's not very deep. He's ruled by emotions, not terribly practical, and will generally try to flatter a partner rather than picking up his share of the expenses, often intensely insecure, needing reassurances, and at worst, he's unfaithful, fickle, shallow, highly emotional, and unreliable. Well, now let me turn to his bad qualities. No, that's them. I will say this about this person. They can be extremely engaging and enjoyable company. They can be great in the bedroom. They can provide you with a sense of enormous emotional fulfillment for a time. Sexual gratification is what you get from them because, well, it's almost like that's what they were born for, in a way. I think that they can make you feel good. They're very good for your ego. They're kind of like con men in that they make you feel really good about yourself, but then having got what they want, which may be, well, it could be anything really, they're off, and you don't see them again. Here's the Three of Cups, though, and I think that what's coming up, this is interesting that it should come together. Maybe you'll change this person. Maybe you'll change this person. The Three of Cups is the Lord of Abundance, is what I call it. The Lord of Abundance. Well, Mercury in the second decan of Cancer, 2nd to the 11th of July. Now, Cancer is the most maternal of the signs, and this three here relates to, for me, gestation, extension, development, almost like the development of a fetus within inside the body of a woman. So Cancer is well placed, I think, in this number 3, and Cancer people, well, they generally communicate with feeling, don't they? Conveying a sensitive, kind of thoughtful, withdrawn, gentle, thoughtful, intuitive nature. I mean, some people say that they can sometimes take things a bit personally and spend a lot of time crying, but they're lovely people. Lovely people. So Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is about here, it's about will and communication, and Cancer is about nurturing. So you'll find that you'll be able to express your feelings fully with people that you are close to in a way which enriches your own life and in a way which enriches their lives. There really is, I think, an overflowing exchange of love, rare, valuable feelings and perception which can be communicated intimately. Family gatherings are what I see here. Great gatherings of friends who have mutual love and, importantly, respect for one another. I get in here also the idea of look, it's interesting, isn't it? These streams are coming down from the source down to the earth below, almost like the divine energy coming from the source into the earth. And the tree, in silhouette here, grows up. Some branches are straight, some are twisted, some are young and bendy, others are old. And it really is a depiction, isn't it, of, parts of ourselves that grow. But note that they all grow up. They don't grow down. But this feeling of birth I'm getting around here, so there could be pregnancy around, and I'm also getting this energy, of course, from this card, which is seeping this way into it as well. So I have the real feeling that you may hear of pregnancy during this period, or the birth of an idea or a goal. I think sharing successes with others, life is going to feel great. And it's a great time for you to tell people that you love them. And it's particularly a good time to boost the morale of other people. Now, if you see a woman in the mall and you think that, the clothes that she has on look really good on her, just go up there and say to her, not in a weird way, but just say to her, look, I love those. I really love what you've got on. Those colours really suit you. That you look fabulous. And then move on. That will boost her morale. You could do it to a man as well, probably safer not to do that often with men, perhaps, because men tend to take any opportunity or any compliment as an invitation for something more. But I'll say that the karmic reward that you get from boosting the morale of other people cannot be overestimated. It pays back 1,000 times over. I think this is also saying for you to enjoy your riches, but be aware of their limitations and see them for what they are. And I think Mercury is also saying it's time for you to communicate to 1, 2, 3 very significant people in your life the fact that you love them. Okay, let's have a look now at this little baby here. Look at that, the Page of Discs. The Page of Discs. I might refer to her as a she. I'm getting that type of an energy from it. The page is, the element of page is earth, and discs is, of course, earth. So she's the earthly part of earth. Now, the page is the lowest in the court cards, and earth is the lowest in the suits. So she's kind of the lowest of the low in the court cards. However, she embodies the energy of all the other court cards within her. It's a mystical secret for you. She embodies the energy of all the other court cards, and she, if you like, recycles it, brings it back to the beginning. So she is the mother, she is the child, and she is the mother that brings that eternal loop around. People important to you during this time will be, and I'm going off this disc here, will be Taurus. But I also see Gemini and Aries as being important. I think that you at this time will have great powers of attraction. You'll be very attractive to other people during this period. You will be pregnant with life and generous and kind and benevolent. I think what we have here is the situation where Oh, I think that she really does represent somebody who is kind and benevolent, and you may well have that thing in your life and following their true will or purpose in life. So this card is about getting in touch with that most important aspect and protecting it. Just like this little baby is protected by the crib that it's in, and, you know, these swaddling things. Geez, that long since I've had my children, I forget what these things are called. Swaddling blankets, wraps. That's the thing. It represents, I think, for you also, a very productive time after what may have been seen to be, something of a barren stretch. I have to tell you, I'm getting marriage around here, so you're going to hear of marriage. I also get motherhood around here, probably not surprising, but so you're going to hear of there's going to be motherhood, and there's motherhood energy in here, and I certainly get a very good feeling for people who are involved in domestic life and domestic situations, not necessarily with an outside career. But I think it's particularly beneficial for those people pursuing domestic duties, looking after homes, looking after family and children, looking after the elderly is what I'm also getting. I'd have this thought in mind: I am now ready for the new beauty in my life. And that really is going to be something pouring into you in November. And then when we get here to December, what do we have? Now, for the last month of the year, we have the last major arcana card, the World. Now, the World has what to say to you. Do I have a zodiac sign for it? I don't really do, I don't think. No, I don't. I think what I'm getting is really that I do get the planet of Saturn surrounding it, though, but Saturn in a very good form, in that form of learning, that is, of you've learned, you've overcome, you've passed the test, you've checked, and you've done very well. You passed with flying colours. It's the completion of a project. Your efforts have finally and are finally paying off. It's been a long haul, perhaps you're thinking, but you're almost there. And it's saying also, remember to finish what you started. And I think what is happening here too is you have during the year, and I think that by the time you get to the end of this year, you will have learnt to have taken control of your own destiny, and you are calling upon the power of your will to get results. I'm just having these words that are coming through. You are the entire universe of love, of delight, of joy. Let me be also thus to you, O coiled light within me. In the light and in the night, let me be the vehicle of your love. Yes, let me be the vehicle of your love. Yeah. I think that there really isn't a bad side to this card whatsoever for you. It's particularly good to have it at this time of the year, I think. I don't see a bad side to it. The journey started with the Fool, which is not in your spread, of course, and it ends here. And this is the breath of life. It's the completion of a journey. I think you'll be very ecologically minded and have a desire to experience as much of the world and its people as possible. Maybe before the age of 21 there was a sexual block which needed cutting through. I'm just getting that. And now something is ending and beginning at the same time. There may well be a desire to travel or to study or to liberate a liberate a sexual reticence that you might have. Look, trust your perceptions. Make a list of all unfinished situations now before the new year whose resolution would give you a sense of relief. And I'd have these thoughts in mind. I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that makes the world a better place to live, because if there's anybody who is fitted to do that, it is you. Gee, all things considered, you know, I think this might well be your best year ever. That's the way it is for you.
Well, there you go. That's it. Your 2020 annual reading done. I tell you what, I think that this is going to be your best year ever. I really do have that feeling about it. I've got to say that the vibe that's come out of that reading of yours is very, very positive, and you should be looking forward to this year. By the way, I just want to say also that you've been fabulous. You've been great, and in fact, you've been brilliant, and you've played your part of this exercise to perfection. And I thank you for that. Look, really, all that remains for me to say is this: that you are a legend, and I hope I see you in my monthly readings. Subscribe if you want, but check out the videos anyway. Until then, bye for now.